took out. Make sure we're glad to have you here. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I am Jamari Clarrington, and with the panel of guests, Colin, Sophia, Kavon, and we're here to talk about living work versus, living life, and why people tend to work until we're 65 years old. Like, that's cool. And let's go. Let's just talk about that. What are you? Since Kavon wanted to get in so bad,
kick it off, Kevon.
Kavon, kick it off. How can what can people do to ensure that they're not working until they're 65 years old? What are some solutions to help people along the way that can benefit them, as far as accumulating some type of wealth or incomes where they're not working as hard, they're working smart with their money?
All right, so good night to everyone again. The way I see it in today's world, an individual having, or working a job is what we've all been taught, or most of us have been taught at a young age. Give me one quick second here. Hold on, okay?
Yeah, so Kavon just, kind of, dipped on it. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So as we wait
no, I didn't dip out on you. Give me a second. So like I was saying, right? So the majority of us have been taught at a young age that, you go out, you work hard, you get an honest job, don't steal other people's stuff, don't turn into a criminal, and pretty much you'll be successful, right? For the most part, right? And the world that we live in nowadays is changing. No longer can you work a job and have job security and use it to retire. I was speaking to a young lady the other day. She had a job, worked there for 7 years. She had amassed approximately $26,000 in a 401k. When she left the job, it was so hard to get another job that she actually cashed in the 401k. So lo and behold, now she lost her retirement, or she had to start over her retirement. Then she had to pay a huge tax fine on that $26,000. I think she ended up getting back like 17,000. So the tax fine on a 401k, you literally never cash in a 401k unless you're facing bankruptcy, or it's a dire situation where if you don't cash it in, someone's going to get hurt or die from a medical ailment. If you have a 401k, the best thing for you to do if you leave one job and go to a next is to roll it over. Like, almost never cash it in unless you absolutely have to. So yeah, she lost roughly about 9,000. If you talk to anyone that's ever cashed in one, they'll tell you, it's a large chunk Uncle Sam takes from it. So basically, what I'm saying is, the world is changing. No longer can we just rely on a job to take us to 30 years and retire. Okay. And you guys could, for those of you that have a job, could, probably comment and say, how long have you been able to keep one job for? I can tell you for myself, I've probably had maybe about 5 different careers in my adult life. Okay, so it happens, and yeah, I'll just turn the floor over to you guys so I won't hog all the time. But there's a couple more things I have to say, but we'll get to that as we go along.
Awesome.
Who's up next? Next?
Well, I'd like to chime in. I'd like to maybe backtrack a little bit and get a little bit of enrollment for people to understand a little distinction around living to work and living life, and finding out, what you have to really ask yourself, what's the most important to you. Now, of course, survival is important, and work is related to survival. However, what many people have experienced in the past is that even when they had, the retirement and all of that stuff, and they had the money back in the 50s, in the 60s, they still lived unfulfilled lives. So at the end of the day, they worked, they got their their golden years, and then they just died within like 5 to 7 years of their life being free from work. So now you're working for 50 something years, and then you have 5 to 7 years to enjoy it, max 10. And so you got to be in reality around how you're spending your time, because we don't have an infinite amount of time. We don't have, this isn't Call of Duty. We can't just respawn and just be like, oh, let's go start from where we left off. So what I think is important, we'll just put it in the mindset, like, why would I change my lifestyle? So if you're a human being right now that's actually living to work, you get up, you go to work, you get up, you go to work, you get up, you go to work, and then you wait until you work again on the weekends, trying to have fun and trying to enjoy your life during those times, but you're tired and you're doing errands and stuff like that. So first thing is to understand that, accept that, it's not working for me. Like this life, if you're waking up in the morning and you don't want to wake up, you're living to work. All right. So you got to transfer transfer that energy of just waking up. You have to first enroll yourself in what you're actually doing in the time being. And if what you're doing right then, whatever job or occupation that you're in, is not panning out the way that you would like it to be, you got two options. You can either adjust that, or you can quit and change it. Right? Quit and change something. That's two main options. I guess there's some other options, but you can adjust that job. You can go to that job if you're not getting enough money, if you feel like that's what it is, or not enough respect or enough free time or whatever. You can always talk to whomever it is that's in charge. If you got your own business, you can shift your priorities over to, either marketing or promotion and things like that. That will make your business grow so that you can have more of a dividend coming back. But again, the first and most important part of it is getting out of the rat race mentality and realizing, okay, what's not working about my life? Okay, I don't like my job. Okay, what can I do with that? If I got more money, would I like my job? If I had to work less, would I like my job? Because maybe you could stay at your job, change the way you're spending your money, and then have a good life. And you're living to live. Like, you're taking that money, instead of paying for random stuff around the house and little things here and going out to eat all the time, all that money that you have, you could shift that money that you're already making and use that to put it into experiential things like traveling, building your business, taking classes, learning new things so that you can enjoy yourself. Because most of us like to learn. We just don't necessarily like certain environments. So find the environment that works for you. If it's just nature, just go take nature walks and things like that. You'll buy your time with the money that you're already spending from spending your time. All right. And so that's, maybe a transference for like a little bridge for people that are suffering from the idea of like, well, okay, I realize I'm living to work. What can I do to shift that? In a simple way, because I got kids. I can't just like stop. So that's one little tidbit. Transfer your money. Use it for a way, use it in a way that actually is towards experiences and not like cable bills and, extra phone bills and getting that iPhone 10, and all that stuff. Don't get the newest phone. If you're willing to spend $900 to get a phone and a plan, dollars and go to France, it's better. Keep your iPhone 4, 5, 6, or 7, and then make that shift. Little things like that. How you spend your money. Change that.
Yeah, like it all sounds good, but realistically, I need to see like a real game plan, because this is kind of how it's all set up now. So we're already in the trap. How do we get out of the trap and things not fall apart? Because we're already in the rat race. And that's just the name of the game. That's just how our world works, or our society works. So I think that's my main concern. My main concern is, okay, it would be really nice if I didn't work so many hours, if I made more money. Not that I can't see how to, I can't think of other ways to make money. But when I don't have a lot of time on my hands to really think of an organized way to make more money, is, I don't know, when I hear goes out the other ear, because to me that's going to take more of a risk that I'll use myself for an example. I can't afford to like take certain risks right now because right now I am the breadwinner in my house and I have other people depending on me. So it's least likely that someone's going to talk me into getting out of the rat race, even though I agree that it is a rat race and I agree that it's just awful. But I feel like it's easier said to say, just get out of that. That's just, that's mundane. Find something that you love or do things that you love. Because even though the cable bill is not cool, to me, like thinking about planning a trip to France where I can comfortably travel to France. I'm like, holy moly, like I better just pay this cable bill one more month. Like that's where my mind goes. I'm serious. I'm just being serious for the average 9-to-5er. We're kind of already in a race, and it's kind of like just even thinking of walking away from a 9-to-5 can be overwhelming. Just thinking about it. So depending on every situation, I'm like, I just better wake up when this alarm goes off at 4:30 because right now that's all I have time to do is make sure that I make that schedule. I really don't have time to think of a master plan. So I think that they're like, what about those people who are kind of confined to the situation?
There are a couple. Come on, next year, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I got a little story to tell. It's pretty, and I like what she just said. And she's right. There's a statistic out there that at least 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. As a matter of fact, Jamar, you were speaking about innovating. You know that there's a new app now that allows you to get paid every single day, every day of the week, and a bunch of companies are switching over to it. So
is it Dash?
I can't remember what it is. I don't know what it is off my head. But a great number of companies, in order to retain their employees, are now switching over to it. So instead of, let's suppose you have a bill and the bill is normally due on, some of us have bills that are due on odd day, like my gym membership is due on, I think.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
For the 9th.
Okay.
And it's coming up and you need to pay it, or let's say your car note is due on the 20th, but you get paid on the 24th. You can actually cash in your paycheck and get the paycheck later on in the day using that app if the company that you work for, we call it, uses that app to pay out, right? And so basically it's encouraging employees now, it's helping them meet their bills on time. The only problem though with that app is that individuals get caught up again, like she was saying, on the wheel, right? And they don't realize that they're still in, unfortunately, a rat race. Simply because if you get paid $3,000 a month, but let's suppose there's 20 days in the month and you're getting paid $150 a day. At the end of the month, that's still $3,000 a month. So unfortunately or fortunately, the only way to truly get out of debt or get out of your circumstance is to increase your income. Now, I'm not saying get a better job, right? But find a way to increase your income. That, unfortunately, and I had to learn the hard way, it is literally the only way to get out of debt. And like Collins say, to travel. Now, there are other ways to travel. Collins, where have you been overseas?
Spain, France, Trinidad, Bahamas. No, not Bahamas, but Bermuda, Grenada. Yeah, I think that's the main places. We did like 10 cities in Spain.
Okay.
It's like Antigua and stuff like that.
Right, that's pretty cool. So I've been to Antigua a couple times, Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico, Colombia. Well, I was born in Trinidad. I've been to Grenada, British Virgin Islands, France, Finland, England, Australia. Just to name a few off my head, right? And I can sit,
Right.
I can tell you right now, I've paid for none of those tickets. Right? So,
Yeah, me either.
right,
I
exactly.
didn't pay for any.
So
Yeah.
ideally, if you're smart enough and you look for ways and means, there's ways to, to travel, to see the world, to get those experiences without having to actually pay for them with your own money. And I think that's where
Yeah.
a lot of individuals get caught up, where we say, well, I know I want to go to France, I want to see the Eiffel Tower, right? I want to see the Louvre, but you have to sit and ask yourself, wait a minute, other individuals are doing it, so there has to be a way that they're doing it without, emptying their pockets, right? And we just have to become
Yeah.
innovative and look for methods. Just talk to other individuals. There has to be some way that you're doing it. So I just gave you all those countries, probably close to 10, and I haven't paid for one ticket. So now I want you to
Yeah.
figure out, well, how did he do it? And then try to find a way. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
Jamari.
the when it comes to being realistic, as Sophie said, realistically, not everybody can. They have a 20-50-30 rule. So 20% goes into investments, such as your some type of IRA, or stocks or real estate or something of that nature. 50% goes into your home, of your rent, your living expenses, and then the other 30, um, your miscellaneous, your extracurricular activities, your life insurance, things of that nature. So not realistically, not everybody can do 20% of their paycheck towards, you know, investments, right? Some people,
Right.
as most people, as Kavan stated, are living check to check. And so
Hmm.
the only way around that is not to get another job, as Kavan said earlier, is to create an extra stream of income. Whether that is, putting some money away, whatever you can put away, or creating some type of intellectual property, whether that be an ebook or a book or some type of invention, something that can bring you some type of passive income. That is the
Hmm.
only way that you're not gonna do it by just getting another job. You're right, because that's gonna take more of your time, and we want to live life, right? We don't want to live work. So how do you go about doing those things? Is one thing that I've noticed about people. They're the biggest skeptics about everything, right? But you're not
Hmm.
skeptical about going to work 8 hours a day. In school,
Yeah.
compared to kids, you spend 8 hours in school a day because they're preparing you for an 8 hour work shift. Okay. Um, as I stated in Facebook, I'm not going to like the history of the 40-hour work week, but I can briefly touch upon it. Industrial revolution, people working over 100 hours a day. Union steps in to say, let's drop 100 to 40. Everybody's excited. It's still 40 hours of your life, right? So you spend the majority of your childhood in school, and then the majority of your adulthood working. And then right before you're about to die is when you're supposed to have the most fun, right? But if you notice, in a book, in a Law of Success, Napoleon Hill says, you know, find 5 people that you would consider wealthy, and and study their life. How do they do it? And then find 5 people that are not wealthy, right? And see, what mistakes they made. And the mistakes that most non-wealthy people are making, they're working every single day, right? Wealthy people, as they get older, they're not working, they're just continuing to invest, right? They're 65 years old and they're still investing in different projects because that's fun to them, right? When we're 65, hopefully, yeah, I don't even think Social Security will be around that long, right? But when we're 65, some people are still not getting paid enough income to survive off that Social Security. So they have to go, those are sometimes your crossing guards and stuff of that nature. They have to still go out there and work to support their life. So one thing that I realize people are not paying attention to is just opportunity. And before we went on air, me and Collins was talking about it for a while. Just cryptocurrency. And we just being aware of the Bitcoin, right? Just one aspect, right? Collins mentioned that if you would invest like $100 in Bitcoin when it was a cent and a half or 40 cents or $10, you'll be close to, if not a millionaire right now. And that didn't require a lot of money to get into it, right? But it required you to be more so open-minded and also looking for opportunities as they present themselves, because opportunity doesn't just come to your face and say, hey, Sophie, guess what? I'm an opportunity. You ready? Right? It doesn't do that. Especially if you're not aware of it, right? Especially if we're walking around skeptical about anything that somebody presents to us. And then by the time you say, dang, I should have did it, it's kind of too late. Right? And so that's just one aspect of taking your income, and realistically, not everybody falls into the 20, 50, 30 rule, right? But realistically, everyone should be putting money away. When you save, you got to treat it like it's a bill. When you're paying yourself every month, it has to become a bill, and your savings account. And you just don't want to, like I tell people, you don't just want to put your money in a savings account. You want to put it in some type of high interest, something that has a high yield or high dividend type of account. Where it's not sitting there in your savings account, not doing anything. Okay.
I do
but
that.
At least it's doing something.
Savings account, and it's literally only
just sits there.
I think I get like a penny on every something every now and then.
Yeah, it's catching mold.
And so the thing you have to do, and I tell everyone, when you go to the bank, those people that don't, not the tellers, the ones that are dressed up in the suits, and they're the ones, hey, do you need help? Oh, you're just gonna, okay, you're gonna make a deposit, or you go over there. Those are the people that you want to talk to. Especially, I always recommend, before you go to a bank, go to a credit union, right? Those are the people you want to sit down and have a conversation with and say, hey, money, work for me.
Make money.
What type of account should I, get into, and go from there? And also be aware of, when you're investing. I like to say, E-Trade has all those different accounts. You can start your own Roth IRA, traditional, those type of things for yourself. You have to treat your savings like it's a bill, and you're not just saving to save. You're saving to invest. You're put money away for a rainy day, but you're also putting money away for you to make future investments. And that's when we get to the point where we're not working until we're 65. We can actually, retire earlier from the work that we put in, as far as using your mind and understanding that the monetary system has so many opportunities. We just have to pay attention to it.
Right. Let me ask a quick question. Can anyone on the panel tell me the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA?
Yeah.
Nope. Not me.
As homework, right, is to find out the difference between a traditional and a Roth IRA. Please.
Okay.
And I'm all with Jamari when it comes to investing. Because I think that's one of the fastest way to building wealth. It's going to take you a very long time to build wealth, right? I posted on Jamari's page that I don't know if Jamari can pull up those numbers, that if you started putting in $229 per pay period for 35 years, from, let's suppose you leave college at the age of 24, and with each job you do not put your money in a 401k. A 401k is dead. That is a thing of the past. Even with a match program, unless they're going to match you 100%, forget about a 401k. If you really do your research, 401ks are a thing of the past, right? You do not get enough interest on the 401k to really make it worth putting your money in there. The IRAs are the way to go. I want you guys to do your research, and that's everyone that's viewing this video, or this we call it forum afterwards, because I want you to educate yourself. That you really understand the difference. One of the major differences between the Roth and the traditional, right? A traditional IRA, let's suppose every year, actually up until 2018, you can put 5,005. Okay, let me ask this question. Did anybody have to pay taxes last year?
Yeah.
You had to pay taxes? Give me a ballpark figure. I don't need to know the exact number. Give me a ballpark figure of how much taxes you have to pay. Ballpark. You could say above 1,000, below 2,000. Ballpark figure.
You mean the taxes that they're taking out of our money, or you
No. At the end of the year, when you file taxes, you have to pay.
file? Oh no, I didn't have to pay when I filed.
Okay, so I had to pay taxes, right? And my tax bill came up to, I think it was like $10,000, right? So if you understand, an IRA basically allows you cheat that system legally. People complain that Donald Trump isn't paying taxes. It's not that he's not paying taxes. He understands, or he has individuals that understand how the tax code works, and he uses it to his advantage. The average American, just like I just asked, the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA, if you understand them, you would understand that if you put money into an IRA, whether Roth or traditional, that money in the traditional, it becomes not, you get to deduct it out of your gross. So let's
Exactly
suppose you
time.
put $35,000 a year and you put 5,500 into a traditional IRA. The federal government could only tax you on 29,500. So in essence,
Ah.
the amount of money that you make smaller. And so I say that because what happens is as you start earning more, you're going to have to pay more taxes. And one way to beat that or to get away from it is to put money in an IRA account towards your retirement. Now the Roth IRA, on the other hand, you have to pay you pay that, it's not tax deductible. So if you put five thousand
You're
five
paying
hundred
it up
dollars into a Roth IRA, right? You still get taxed on the $35,000 that you make, right?
front.
But here's the good thing about the Roth. As that money accumulates and the interest on that accumulates as the years go by, when you turn 59 and a half and you're ready to remove that money from the Roth IRA, you don't pay any taxes on that money. None at all.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Got it.
in both cases, the money that you make on the interest is non-taxable. So let's suppose you put in 35 years or 25 years, you put $150,000 into an IRA as the years went by, right? And at the end of the 25 years, your total the total amount is now worth, I think it was 890 some thousand dollars, right? If you put it in a traditional IRA, you will have to pay taxes at that point on the $150,000 that you put in there to make the 897,000 dollars. But if you did a Roth IRA, right, you pay taxes on nothing because what happens is you would have paid the taxes up front. Yeah, exactly. And this is how we get ahead. Well, one of the ways. Again, it is the long way, but it is the sure way. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately, what
Mhm.
individuals do is they 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 lack this knowledge and they put their money into a 401k. That's what I've always been told. Get a 401k. Make sure you put money towards your retirement. If you listen to all the major financial advisors, they will tell you why you, unless your employee is going to match you dollar for dollar in a 401k, it's a waste of time. Don't put your money in a 401k. Go to route of the IRA. Um, and you have to be careful because if you have a 401k, you do not qualify for an IRA up to a certain point. There are some limits, but if you make, I
I
think,
think it's income based. I think it's income based.
up to $66,000.
Yeah, yeah. It's below like 180, 180. I don't know. 100, I think it's below 180 and a little more than 100,000.
If
It depends if you filing from a single standpoint or you filing from a joint standpoint. They both have different. Yeah. So yeah,
and you have to look into it because this is one means in which you save yourself money up front and get something back from it later on. Okay, don't just sit down there and say, "Well, I'll worry about retiring, in the next 10 years," because guess what? I can remember when I was 19 and that was 16 years ago. All right, so Start looking into it. Do your homework for everyone that's viewing this later on, and educate yourself. Hey, Jamar, back to you now.
Awesome. Well, I actually had one, I had
Yeah, I
something that
think
I
like
wanted
you
to
said.
go ahead, Jamar.
Go ahead.
Well, I had no. You go and then I'll bring it back to some practical tips that like what Sophia was talking about with like what can I do like today, how some realistic simple goals just to get started, because that's obviously the longevity scenario of how to raise your wealth over years and years and years and years. And I'd like to teach people a little bit something about how to do it right now, like just small amounts and smaller increments and small changes that you can make in your lifestyle to increase your quality of life. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll do
Go
that
ahead.
after you finish,
What do you think?
Jamar. All right.
What
Okay.
do you think?
All right. So Sophia, that and to anybody that's in Sophia's similar situation, like you like the idea of, living to live and all the stuff like that, but you don't really have the time or the understanding or the wherewithal or the knowledge even to transition from that scenario. All right. So one of the things that keeps the rats going in the race is the cheese, right? It's the payout. But if you can siphon and quarter off your amounts of cheese, right, that pay out for whatever it is, the little luxuries that we have in life, you can buy dollar by dollar by dollar, allow yourself to start gaining back that, overwhelming amount of bills and debt that we have, because most of those bills that we have are not actually necessary, or at the very least, they're not necessary in the way that they are. Mm-hmm. Right. And so if you have cable and you don't have money to like travel or to invest in your business, you're wasting your money. That's for everybody that's on here. Right. Cable is not a necessity. Right. It's not important. You won't die without it. Right. So if you have a cable bill, you're wasting your money. Now, of course, you can be having the same amount of job and income that you have right now and not shift, right? Yeah, you don't have to, maybe you're not ready to shift. You don't know how to shift to a different job or to a different income source and all things like that. Right now, today, you can cut off your cable, right? You can cut off your cable. Let's say the average cable bill that I've heard is around, at least in Los Angeles, is usually around $160. I don't know if it's any different over there in Miami. All right, but the average cable with the internet and the cable is around $160. All right, so now if you cut your cable and just use only internet, because it's not really practical not to have internet, because you're going to be using the internet to be able to get your information on how to, what's the difference in the IRA and Roth IRA and all those things, right? So shifts that you can do is real simple. Take that cable bill. That's $165 and only pay for internet. That's it. It's real simple. Just only pay for internet. Now you can still get your entertainment. It doesn't mean you have to compromise having some entertainment to unwind after the hard day of work, but cut it and use just your internet. You can there's people that have Amazon Fire Sticks or those Google Chromecast, and you put Kodi on it, and you can watch everything that you would watch in Hulu. You don't even have to pay your Hulu. If you got Netflix, you're wasting money. You got Hulu, you're wasting money. You got a subscription to YouTube, you're wasting money. All of that money is money that you could be either putting away, like into some kind of Roth IRA situation, and or you can be using that money as siphon money for your fun and your love and your vacation or your investment and things like that you want to do. That's one simple, practical way. The other thing is your cell phone bill. You don't need unlimited this, unlimited that, and this, that. You don't need that. When you're at home, use your Wi-Fi. All right. When you're traveling and when you're on the road, you're not supposed to be on your internet anyway, unless you're using it just for GPS. You're not supposed to be on your phone. These are practical, simple ways that you can cut down your cable bill, cut down your phone bill, change the way that your bills are coming in to increase the amount of your money that you're having to be retained within yourself for going towards whatever goals and things that you like. Those are simple things. Don't buy the iPhone 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 when it comes out. I'm talking to you guys on an iPhone 4S that I got for $75 last year. Okay? $75. Okay, you can, and it works. You know what I'm saying? But see now, Jamar, you have other ways that you're creating wealth already. You're in Bitcoin, you're in investments, you know these things. But for the people that are out there that don't have, that residual income, create your own residual income by the money that you're making each day or each month, reducing the amount that you're spending. So you have this little edge right here. This little edge in between here is the amount that you're going to be able to either save, invest, or put towards, something practical, like, a trip to Vegas or something like that. I don't know. Something simple, something to enrich your life.
The simplest thing to do is one, the hardest thing that a lot of people don't understand is creating a budget.
Yeah, totally.
I just recently for myself, I use a bunch of different apps for budgeting, but one that I recently I'm taking a look at is mint.com. It's very practical. It puts all your bills in one spot and actually creates, the whole budget thing for you and creates There's a bunch of apps to assist people in doing that. So the first practical thing is one, create a budget. Always got to have a budget. If you don't have a budget, you're losing money somewhere. Whenever I want to save more money, just like you do, I look at my cable bill, I look at my internet bill, I look at our electricity, how much those are all just practical things. Create a budget. Once you create that budget, now you're seeing where your money is flowing, and now you'll be able to, once you see where the direction of your money is going, now you can make those small changes as far as, hey, am I going to be investing, or am I going to put it in some type of mutual fund, index fund, whatever. But that comes into just doing simple, basic research, and it all stems from budgeting. And the two things that people have to understand when you're creating your budget is your fixed and variable expenses. Of course, your fixed expenses are very hard to change unless you can live complete without it. But when you look at your budget, you're attacking your variable expenses. Hey, how can I lower my energy bill? Do I need to take out these light bulbs and get more energy efficient light bulbs? Do I need to stop going out to eat all the time? One thing that me and my wife do, especially when you have a busy schedule, what tends to happen is you tend to go out to eat more often, tend to eat fast food more often, and you got to stop those habits from forming before they actually form. And that is why you create your budget. That is why you should always have a grocery list. Never go to the grocery store without having a grocery list and without setting a budget on how much money you want to spend when you get to a grocery list. These are, like you said, those are simple things. The crazy thing is we buy homes and we spend the majority of our time out of our home. We buy cars.
Exactly.
we buy all these things that are a necessity to live, but we are rarely living in them, right?
Right.
You rarely get to just enjoy the fruit of your labor. And so the main point that I want to drive through is, in order to truly enjoy the fruits of your labor, is you got to stop laboring. You understand? Like, you got to stop laboring, because as Kavan stated earlier, the world is changing, and it's changing at a rapid pace. Okay, there's no job in the world, and me and Kavan was going at it the other day. There's no job in the world that is safe. Okay, They got automatons that can perform surgeries. Walmart has this new robot thing that's going to actually check shelves now on what items need to be restocked.
Just like Amazon.
All these things do not require human beings. Even now, they're pushing code in school, and I push my kids to understand code and programming. That's a push of mine, right? But even then, they have artificial intelligence software and robots they're creating that can program and code themselves. So eventually, even the coders won't have a job. So With that being said, I was listening to Mark Cuban just the other day, and he was saying you have to at least have 6 months of your money saved just in case you lose your job. You should have 6 months put away. So if something was to transpire, you have 6 months to either find another job or create one. All right. Normally, people are living check to check. So normally, when they lose their job, they're either going to get evicted. This is how people that have great credit scores or decent credit scores all of a sudden go having a horrible credit score, because you cannot foretell what's going to happen to you in the next 6 months. I don't care if you've been at that job for 20 years, you don't know what they're going to do. Okay. So if that
Right.
occupation, that employer decides to let you go and you've been living check to check the whole time, what do you think is going to happen to you when your next month bills are due? Okay. People don't think about that until it's too late. And I say it's kind of analogous to having a car and not having something in your car that's going to assist you when it comes to your tire being coming flat, because it's not if, it's when your tire is going to get flat. It just happens. And so when people are on the side of the road and they're crying about a flat tire, you knew when you bought the car that eventually the tire is going to get flat. You got to be proactive about things that can transpire in your life, because again, you don't know when these things will happen, and it's not always if, it's just a matter of time. People lose their jobs.
Yep.
It just happens. Okay, so if you're not prepared to lose your job, then be prepared to be broke. I always tell my children, when we're driving around, when we see homeless people and they're out there asking for $1, whatever. I always say, hey, I want you to think about what decision did that person make that put them out there on those streets. There's always a decision. I don't care what anybody says. Our life is just an accumulation of every decision that we ever made. Every habit that we have formulates our personality. So what decision did that person make? And what decision will you make and I make to ensure that that cannot happen to us? Because it can happen to anybody. It happens to the wealthiest people in the world, and it definitely happens to the brokest people in the world. And the only way that you can prevent those things from happening is be very proactive and always look for other opportunities rather than getting your main sustenance from one job. That's crazy. If your only means of living comes from one occupation, then you're already in trouble. You're already in trouble. All it takes is for that employer to say, hey, we got to let you go. That's it. And then what are you going to do?
Yep.
Okay, Jamari, can you see my screen? Does it show?
Yeah, investor.gov. I was
Right.
looking at that.
Okay.
I see it.
So,
Hold on, let me make you the presenter so we can go ahead and all right, go ahead.
okay. So, before we get Jamari, you were quoting some numbers before. Basically, is that if you make $62,000, if you make $62,000, you call it probably should get a pen and paper. If you make $62,000 or less, regardless of if you have a 401k, you can get into an IRA, right? So regardless of a 401k, you can get into an IRA. So you can have, let's suppose you're a teacher and you make
Is that from a single standpoint
single,
or
right? That's good.
okay.
Single. You are correct, Jamari. Single, right? So if you make $62,000 or less, right? You're a single person, you can get an IRA even if you have a 401k. If you make over 62,000 single, right? Actually $72,000 and you're single, right? You can get an IRA, but you cannot have the company's 401k. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can still get an IRA regardless of your income, but they basically try to restrict you depending on how much money you make. Now, if you married, right, that money goes up to $99,000. So if you and your spouse make $99,000 for year 2017, you can still get an IRA, a 401k. But if you make over $119,000, you can get an IRA. You would have to not have the 401k. So with that said, you may say to yourself, why is this guy talking about an IRA? And so now I'm going to I'm show you what an IRA can do for you, right?
Show us the numbers. Show us the numbers.
Right. So let's look at you guys can see my my Google screen, right? My Google Chrome.
Yeah.
All right. Give me one quick second here.
What was the numbers you showed me the other day?
I'm gonna pull up those numbers, and I'm going to ask you guys for a realistic we call it again realistic. We call it. Sorry, we'll run some realistic numbers. All right. Hold on one quick second here. All right. So here we go. So you want to go to the compound interest calculator, right? Sorry. Right. And this is run by it's a .gov website. So basically, you guys are safe by going here. Well, hopefully, the federal government runs this website, right? So let's suppose. So the maximum you can contribute, right? Jamar, you know what that number is per year? Jamar,
What's up?
you know what the maximum for an IRA per year you could contribute?
No, I don't know the maximum.
Okay, so the maximum per year until the 2018 is $5,500, right? That changes once you cross the age of it's 55 years of age, and you can actually contribute
for 52,000.
You could contribute $6,500 a year. So it lets you add an additional $1,000. So here's how this works. So let's suppose this year, right? We're gonna go the route of we're going to go the route of the traditional IRA. So let's suppose this year we contribute $5,500 towards an IRA, right? And let's be more realistic. Okay, most individuals might want to contribute what? Let's say you can contribute about $3,000 towards an IRA, right? And every pay period, right? You could say, okay, I can put aside about $120 towards my IRA, right? Because you can contribute up to $5,500, right? But let's suppose you don't have that kind of money, right? Let's suppose you can, only contribute $120 every pay period, right? And then let's suppose, Collins, how old are you now?
35.
You're 35, right? So let's suppose you want to retire because you can only start pulling out of this at 55 and a half, right? Let's suppose you want to retire at 55 and a half, right? Or let's call it 60 years of age, flat, right? So you have another 25 years to invest.
25 years, yeah.
Right. And then the interest right now, roughly for the past couple of years, has been about 12%, right? And so, and we call it again, it compounds annually, right? So we run the calculator. If you were to save, so we put it in $3,000 initially, and every pay period, right? Actually, no, this is going to be more than that because this is going to
Vaughn?
Every pay period, twice a month. Put it. Yeah, I'm running it again. Hold on. Right. So this is what happens. So if you put $240 a month towards an IRA for the next 25 years, Collins, right?
Yeah.
If you were to put that money in a bank, you would have, we call it again, $75,000, right? But if you put it in an IRA, by the time you're 60 years of age,
You're breaking up, Kavon.
have.
You broke up. We didn't hear you.
Okay.
Say by the
Can you
time
see
you're
the
60 years
numbers?
of age.
Yeah. So by the
No.
time 60, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So if you were to just put that money in an account, let's suppose you were a big time saver and you just wanted to save, right? If you would have put $240 into a savings account, right, without compounded interest, you would only have $75,000. But if you put it into an IRA, right, until you were 60, right, you would have $435,000 in an IRA, right? Here's the cool thing about that. If you put it in the traditional IRA, Uncle Sam can only tax the first $75,000. Okay? If you put it into a Roth IRA, which means you pay your taxes up front, Uncle Sam cannot tax any of that $435,000. And these are realistic numbers, right? These aren't numbers where if I put more than $120 out of my paycheck, I'm going to starve. Like you said, that's your cable bill, correct?
Yep.
That's a fact.
That's your iPhone X bill versus switching to Metro PCS, correct?
Yep.
These are relatively simple numbers, but unfortunately they don't teach us in college. Most of our parents did not know this, and most of our neighbors probably don't know this.
Right.
So this is where, again, investing for a future, for retirement. You know, you see, sometimes you drive down the road and you see a guy with, all gray, and he's driving this really cool sports car. And you're thinking to yourself, how did he do that? Did he just save that money? A lot of times, these guys are investing for years, and that money is growing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you just have to be smart about it. So let's suppose you did like we said, and you found a way to boost your income, right? And he said, you know what? I am going to cheat Uncle Sam out of, well, not cheat Uncle Sam. I'm going to use the system to not pay taxes every year because I don't like paying taxes. If the president didn't pay taxes, why should I, right? And
Now use that wrong.
and every month, right? Because we need to now divide that 5,500 by 12, right? 5500 divided by 12, right? So every month you would have put into that account $408.33, right? 25 years, Collins, right? At 12%,
Yep.
right? This is how much you would have. You would have $826,000, right? If you went the route of the traditional IRA, when you reach 60 years, Uncle Sam can only tax the first $142,000. So you have that difference. You have approximately, if you take 826,000, right, and you minus 142,000, right, you have approximately $684,000 non-taxable.
Right.
That's over $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you think about it, how many people you know right now, just think about it, that are 60 years old that have absolutely completely paid off for their house?
Exactly.
Not much.
Not much. So what I'm saying is, if you invest that small amount of money into an IRA, just pay your mortgage as regular, right? You might be able to buy a second home and rent that second home out, and lo and behold, now you have money coming in every month that you can use for maybe a vacation.
Whatever the heck you want to do. Yeah.
Exactly, because you have to remember this $826,000. If it went in there via Roth, is non-taxable. If you put it in using the traditional, the only tax you have over $684,000 non-taxable, right? So this is, I honestly believe this is how most of these elderly individuals who understood investing were able to beat the system. All right. So this is just, guys, study it, get into it. It's a sure way of, saving for retirement. Put it that way, and you don't have to put your money in an IRA. I mean, in a 401k. Just do some math. Call up the company that you work for. Tell them you need your 401k information, and look at where your 401k would be by the time you hit 60 in the next 25 years. I can guarantee you it will not be anywhere close to these numbers. So why put your money in a 401k, right? It's but companies push that. Okay, why? I don't know if they don't know or they just rather not tell the
because it's more traditional. That's how they've been doing it for the past some odd years.
So that's what I pretty much wanted to share with you guys tonight. Just look at the numbers. Again, you don't have to put in $5,500 a year, but just consider whatever you put in there, right? You cannot be taxed on if you put it in a traditional. You see what I'm saying? Or you don't get taxed on it right now. So if you realize, let's suppose at the end of I remember just a really quick story. When I was working as a health inspector in the state of Florida, when I was about 24, 25, right? I was making, I'm not ashamed to say it because you learn from your experiences. I was making $30,600 a year. That was $950 every 2 weeks. And then at the end of the year, I have to pay $900 and something in taxes. I mean, how does that make sense? A year. That was $950 every 2 weeks. And then at the end of the year, I have to pay $900. I'm getting a feedback. I mean, how does that make sense?
It's Sophia.
Yes.
Mute your thing.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if let's suppose you get out of school and you realize that you're single, right, and you don't have that many deductibles, right, which that's the case for a lot of people, right, and at the end of the year they think to themselves, why am I paying so much taxes, right? If you were just to take a little bit of that money and put it into an IRA, you would be getting back money at the end of the year when you do your taxes. An accountant, sit down and talk to them and let them, myth bust what I just taught and see really and truly how you can put your money away to save yourself money now and in the future. And that's pretty much it. Jamari, I'll turn the floor back over to you.
Yeah, what you were saying is very accurate because, like I said, I was watching Mark Cuban talking about it. Y'all, Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, Dallas Maverick. He's saying same thing. Put your money in the IRA is a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. He said, realistically, again, not everybody can put, not every part of your life are you gonna be in a position to put away $200, $300, but as long as you're making that effort to put something away every time you get paid, right? It's only going to benefit you in the future. And I'm a person that when I used to trade, I was always looking for now money, right? So when I used to day trade, I always look for, hey, I'm in the stock, I'm out of stock the next day. I'm in the stock, I'm out of stock 2 days later, right? So I was always trying to get, $400, $500, $1,000, $2,000 real quick. But as I got older, I started realizing that some of the companies that that I invested in, some of them, like Microsoft, when I was, swing trading Microsoft over and over and over again, and it was at $32. Now I'm looking at it being 83, 84 something dollars. I'm like, man, I should just, bought the shares and just held on to it, so because you don't think that in, 5 years to us seems like a long time, but then in actuality, really not, right? 20 years from now will not be a long time. It'll be in a blink of an eye, and you want to make sure that at least while you were working, you put something away. When you didn't have to work, you didn't have to work, right? So yeah, IRAs are no brainers. Like that is something you should do right away. It's something that me and my wife got to sit down. We you know, we've been educators for a few years, and you gotta, you know, make sure that you put that money away. Sophie, talk to me. Talk to me, Sophie.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Sophie.
I'm learning. That's why. So I was just thinking about maybe like people when people want to get out of this kind of system. I hear that there are some other countries who don't ride their citizens like you know how we're driven in America. Because really, like the American way is really like work the person to death. You know, it's really not about living and all of that. But yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening to all the ideas about how you can save and invest.
So, Sophia, do
What's
you
your
see that as accessible?
I would
saving?
ask you.
What'd you say?
I
Go ahead,
was
Colin.
asking, do you see the suggestions that Kayvon was making and that I was making as accessible for you? Do you see that as a something that you could do potentially?
Yeah. I mean, I can do that. Like Jamari was saying, though, I probably wouldn't do like a large amount because I'm very. The only thing about me is that I'm very like, um, well, I don't know how to say it, but I am not a risk taker. And so if I can
Okay.
see the reason why I can wake up every morning and go to my 9 to 5 is because I know that I will receive a paycheck for sure. So that's just the kind of person that I am. Like I'm really not a risk taker. If something has been working for me, I'm gonna go in that direction. But yeah, like I can see putting money in particular accounts as opposed to savings accounts because I totally agree. I'm a really good saver. So I can save some money. But the thing is, I remember the first time my bank sent me a statement for my savings account and they were like, oh, you earned $1 and something. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Like all this. And so I get it. I get it. So I could totally do some research on the kinds of accounts that I put my money into instead of a traditional savings account. I get that totally.
Awesome.
I definitely, you know, Sophie,
Because people,
I definitely see, you know, where you're coming from, and I think that you're not the only American who, you know, we're raised to do that, right? Our parents tell us, hey, go to school, get the best grades you can, go to college, come out of college, and get a well-paying job and be happy for the rest of your life, right? And we become accustomed to, you know, as I said, you know, on my other channel, we become accustomed to giving up our time for money. So again, every time my wife approaches me about some program or something, so I say, you know what you got to give up, right? Your time. Yeah, they're going to pay you more money, but you're going to be giving up more time. And you know, we're already short on time, right? How many hours of the day do you want to take from me to make money? So, you know, I heard, you know, a long time ago is sometimes money ain't worth your time, right? Sometimes making a decision based off of just making more money isn't a real good decision, right? So you could tell me that, hey, Jamari, after you get off out of work or do this, we're going to pay you an extra $100 for, you know, give us 2 hours of your time. You know what I'll tell them? I'm like, no, I'm not giving you 2 hours of my time, not for $100, not for $200. I don't care. During the summer, when they ask for, do you want to work for? I'd rather work my business and continue to work at a job. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't care about you're not going to entice me with the paycheck all the time because I know I'm going to give up 8 hours of my day. I'm going to give 9 hours a day. I'm going to give you an extra 3 hours of my day. Nah, there's something else I could be doing with my time. I'd rather be at home sometimes and be with my family and make no money, right? Than be out there and you're taking my time, and you don't even really care about my time, because what happened to Sophie, I can promise you this. They're not paying you what you're actually worth. And that's an absolute fact.
Nope.
Nobody ever pays you how much you're actually worth. And what boggles my mind and got me as I got older, I'm realizing that somebody told you that you're only worth such and such amount of dollars an hour, that you're only worth such and such amount of dollars a year. And that's almost an insult, and it almost offends me for someone to come at me and state that. You know, I just realized I had it on Kavan the whole time. There we go. I just realized that. And I think I just did Sophie too.
Yeah, now you put it on me.
Jamari, I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Right, so let's play this little game for a minute, right? So what if I were to tell you that I'm going to give you a job, right? You'll be working 12-hour shifts, right? 4 days a week, right? And at the end of the year, right, I'm going to pay you $450,000. Would you take the job?
Say it again.
Yes. Say it over.
What's the first question you would ask?
Wait, say it over, because we kind of like.
Can you guys hear?
Yeah, never care.
We just need to hear it again.
So, Jamari, let's suppose I would offer you a job, right? And I say, okay, Mr. Clarendon, I'll be paid. I want to give you a job. You're working 4 days a week, for 12-hour shifts, and I'm going to pay you $450 at the end of the year. Would you take the job?
4 hours a week.
4 days a week.
I'm up trying to fix the dollar thing. Go ahead.
4 days a week, right? 12-hour days, right? $450,000 a year, and it's a job where you sit down. Would you take the job?
What am I sitting down doing?
So what? Pardon me?
I'm working 12-hour days.
4
days a week.
$450,000.
Get off?
Huh?
Would I do it? It depends on what it is. It
okay,
sounds
great.
good.
So what if I were to tell you that in this job you are actually a doctor, a physician? Would you do it then? I'm trying to get to a point. Just play what
am I required to have been trained and went to school and going to debt?
Okay, let's suppose I at the age of hang in. I'm trying to get to a point, and it's related to what what you just said. Let's suppose I offered this to you when you were 20 years of age, and I said, don't worry, I'll put you through undergrad, put you through medical school, and put you through residency, and when you finish at 32, I will offer you this job. You work 12-hour shifts, 4 days a week for $450,000 a year.
Okay, sounds good.
It sounds good. Collins, would you take the job?
Nope.
You would take the job? So the young lady in the chat, would you take the job?
I don't know. 400,000 sounds good because I don't make 400,000 now.
450,000.
Okay, it sounds good. I mean, that's 12 hours. I don't know if I can do 12 hours, but
well, I mean, it's like 8 in the morning till 8 at night, and you make $450,000 a year. Right? It sounds good, right? Right. It sounds good. So Jamari would take it, right?
I didn't say I would take it. I'm saying it sounds good.
Miss Sophie would take it. It sounds good, right? So when I first heard about it, I said, "What is there not to like about it? I mean, that's almost $500,000. What could I not do? You know? And I'll be a physician.
All I got to work 1 year. I'm done.
Right.
I'm out.
So get this, right? So there's a profession, a specialty, a medical specialty known as radiology. Have you guys ever seen what a radiologist does?
Yeah, that's when they go in for the X-rays and shit, right?
Well, they don't do the x-rays. The radiology technician is the one that wheels you in and positions you and does the x-rays. The radiologist, who's an MD, just sits behind a screen and reads x-rays and does a write-up. And they make $450,000 a year. Would you take that job?
Nope.
You would, right? Ms. Sophie,
Collins said no.
Collins, you said no? Jamari, would you take that job?
I might take it if all I have to do is assess some little.
Yeah.
Now.
All you're doing is looking at a screen
Mm-hmm.
and reading, we call it again images. That's it. For 12 hours a day. Collins, you said no, right?
I want to hear why Collins would not take it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you why Collins is probably the smartest one of the set. And he's even smarter than me. That's saying a lot. Because at first, I wanted to jump at it. I said, why wouldn't I take it? You know, that's almost $500,000. Radiologists have one of the highest suicide rates amongst physicians.
Oh my God.
You got to be.
You know why?
You got to be, bro.
In order for them to read that chart.
They sit in the dark. The job is
depressing. Exactly.
The dark.
If you sit in a dark room for 12 hours a day, how can you not be depressed?
Yeah.
Bruh, you in the darkness, man.
You see what I'm
saying? It took me that long to figure that out. Let me tell you absolute facts though. An absolute fact, I'm doing it for a year. I'm smart enough. If you give me $450,000,
yes,
I got to do it for 1 year. I'm out. All my businesses are flourishing. I done dropped 30 grand in New Breedy. I'm good. I got 1 year. I'm out. Listen, I'll do it for 1 year. 1 year.
Jamari definitely can't sit in a dark room all day. Look at him. You would not survive 1 day.
My imagination is so crazy. I would have actual conversations to myself and have a great time. Like, what you doing all day? Well, I was talking to myself. I was, you know. So my thing.
So I knew this before. I went on this one particular. I went on a rotation, right, at a hospital where I won't name the hospital, but the hospital is so famous they actually treated Ebola in the United States at that hospital. So you guys can look that up. And we had a patient, and they were looking to see if the patient had a special type of pneumonia that's associated with HIV. So we had to go down to radiology. The radiologist was sitting in there in a dark room, reading the screen, and next to her was a self-help book.
Oh shit!
That's not funny. That's sad.
What have I done with my life?
It's back to what Jamar was saying, right? People work so hard, but you're really not enjoying life. You know, you're doing somebody else's work, right? So I think that profession right there is a perfect example for this topic, whereby which, yeah, you can make a lot of money, but the job that you're in is not satisfying, you know? And you may say to yourself, well, why don't you just get out of the profession? Well, get this, you've already invested 8 years of undergrad and medical school. You landed a residency, not everybody matches. You kind of sort of have to go to that residency, you know, because guess what? Or else you would have wasted all those years, right? So
you're gonna waste the rest of your life.
You know, check this out, okay? You know, the crazy thing is, people actually do exactly what you just stated. You'll have someone say, you know, I've invested this amount of years, and they're unhappy.
Yep.
I've invested this amount of years in this occupation. Might as well go ahead and put the other 10 in so I can. It's like, no, are you crazy? Are you crazy? If it's not making you happy, you know. There's one inspiration there. Steve Jobs had made a speech one time, and he said, you know, if you wake up and you look in the mirror and you're not happy about your life, then it's time for you to change up what you're doing. Period. You know, if it's not going to make you happy, it's time to set a plan forth to get you out of your current state. At the end of the day, you want to look back at life. And since we know that our life is finite, right? You don't know that you're going to make it to retirement. You don't know that in 3 years that, you know, you might be dead, right? You don't want to be at, you know, death's door looking back and saying, wow, I didn't do anything that was fulfilling for me. All I did was spend my life working. I didn't go. Say you do go on vacations. Yeah, I always say, I was spoiled because my pops was in the military, so I've been to places years. So it's like I don't want to go on a vacation for 2 weeks and then you have to go back. The first week is all fun and games. The second week, towards the last 3 days, now you're kind of thinking about going back, right? You're like, oh my God, I gotta go back in 3 days, and then the day, so
and I won't be able to go again for another year.
yeah, and so as y'all, and to go back to what y'all stated earlier, what Kavan was saying, there's so many different ways to travel for free. There's so many different ways that you can do things that are innovative. But you just have to be innovative and seek out certain things that you love to do. This is why you have people. You'll wonder why you have certain journalists that travel around the world. They be at these weird places, these weird volcanoes, because maybe in here they want to travel, and they say, let me find an occupation that will allow me to do what I love to do when you're traveling, and all I have to do is do it
and get paid
30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many things, people are doing. Again, like I said, a couple of years ago, apps didn't exist. A couple of years ago, before the internet, blogs didn't exist. Like the newspaper and magazine industry has changed because of the internet, right? A lot of people don't pick up magazines anymore. The newspapers anymore to get the coupons. When you can get the coupons online now, there's no need for you to get the Sunday's paper if you don't read the Sunday's paper, right? So things are changing, and I just really believe that you have to figure out exactly about. And I'm not saying passionate about working. I don't think anybody's just passionate about some type of occupation, right? Some people are, but most of us are just, some people, like I said, some people just want to travel. Some people want to fish. Some people want to just do certain activities that make them feel good. And you have to find at least an occupation that will allow you to your day feel like your day has been, had a purpose. How often are we waking up with no purpose? Right? How often are we waking up, rolling out of bed, and just get up, going to work? Think about this, Sophie. The 24 hours in a day, right? Most of us, if we're working an 8-hour day, we're going to wake up between hours of 4:30 and 5:30. If you got kids, that's the time you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then, depending on how far you work, you're spending anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour on the road, right? Going to work. Then you spend 7, 8, 9 hours at work, right? That's about 3, 4 o'clock, right? And when you drive home, that's another 30 minutes to an hour to drive home, depending on traffic, right? So now you're by the time you get home, it's around 5, 6 o'clock, right? You still got to eat. You still got to take a shower, right? You still got to try to find a couple of minutes to relax, right? Now it's like 8, 9 o'clock. You still, if you have kids, dealing with your kids, getting ready for bed. By the time you even get a moment to yourself, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Time to go to bed.
And now it's time to go to bed and repeat that same thing that you did the day before. So after a while, your day is just a mundane day. It's just you don't feel fulfilled. It's pointless, and you continue that day. And if your weekends are off, you're looking towards that Friday. You can't wait till Friday. Friday comes, which is really your true weekend. Friday and Saturday is really your true weekend, because Sunday you're thinking about what you're gonna do on Monday, right? And so think about that over and over again. It's a loop. Next thing you know, it's January 1st, and you're saying, oh my goodness, my New Year's resolution I didn't do last year. Let me make some new ones. And you don't even do them in the next year. And the cycle continues to repeat over and over and over again. And what do you have? By the time you're 60, what do you have to show for your life? That you went on a couple of vacations, you got a couple of nice pictures on Facebook, social media to act like you're doing all this type of stuff, and you're really not doing anything, right? Matter of fact, the pictures you took on that vacation was the only thing that you did all year, right? And you just spread the pictures out. Spread the pictures out, October, so no. And the only thing that I practice is I'm watching some of the most successful people do a lot with very little, right? They're not the most intellectual people in the world. I had a discussion. We're about to close out in a few. I had a discussion. We were talking about Trump, and everybody was going off on Trump. And I said, you know what? You can talk about Trump all you want to. And I'm not a Trump advocate, right? But you can talk about the man all you want to. You can talk about that he has a 5th grade vocabulary and whatnot, that you think he's an idiot. Well, guess what that idiot did? Guess what that person who you feel has a 3rd grade vocabulary?
Build a multi-billion-dollar company.
He's president of the free freaking world. And for me, that just shows me that you can do a lot with very little, right? And I know this is very like a bad example, but you can still do a lot with very little. You can talk about all the people you want. This one reason why I don't gossip about people in their frame of life, because the people that you're talking about are more than likely successful at doing what they're doing. And the people that gossip about people are usually the people not in high places, and you're looking down from a low place to a high place and not doing what those people did. Where's your book?
Okay. Jamari, I got something quick to say.
Where's your magazine? Where's your script? How much money did you invest in yourself? How many books did you read that actually, will better you in the future? What did you do today to ensure that tomorrow will be better than your yesterday? What are you doing, right? So once we ask ourselves these questions, and once we become real with ourselves and look at ourselves in a mirror and actually do what we say we're going to do, right? It's the small goals that leads to big successes, right? It's the small achievable goals that leads to where we want to go to. And that's what, like exactly what Kavan was talking about with the IRAs and all the other investments that we make. One more thing. I said this, I actually said to my students, like when we're all in college, me, Collins, Kavan, we're all around the same age. We're all in college, right? Look at all the mega companies that came out while the time we were in college, and our eyes wasn't open enough to invest in these things. Netflix came out. When Netflix came out, I thought it was a dumb company. I was like, I'm not, and this is when Blockbuster's out. I'm like, I don't want no CDs in the mail. It sounds stupid, right? And then a couple years later, I got that streaming service, because the streaming service, like, oh, I can do that. I like the streaming service, right? You're looking at YouTube, right? YouTube's what, 2004, 2005, around that time. All these companies that when they first did their IPOs or their stocks, whatever, they were affordable to everybody. And we overlooked it, or we didn't pay attention because nobody taught us, or we were waiting for someone to teach us about investing, right? So when we talk about opportunities, you invest in Google, you invest in Apple, especially in 2008 when Apple was down to like $13, $20 a share. Now they're over $100 a share. You invest in those companies then, just a little bit, and you're better off now than what you were a couple of years ago. And that's just keeping your mind open. And Sophie, and to everyone else, it does require risk, right? Life is about risk, right? Sophie, every morning you wake up, you risk your life going to a place that, I don't know if you're happy or not, but let's say you're going to a place that is not as fulfilling as it could be. So we rush to go to a place, right? People die every day going to work to a place that they don't even want to be, right? That's why if I'm late, I'm late. When I'm late, I'm late. I'm taking my time, because you don't want to get in an accident and die going to a place that you're unhappy.
You don't even want to go to.
You don't want to go to.
Come on now.
Let me say something really quickly, right? And I won't be long. I promise this time. So I was speaking to a gentleman today, right? He's also a teacher. Sophie, you're a teacher, correct?
Yes.
So he's also a teacher, right? I won't mention his name here so that people don't try to go to his house. But I met this guy through track. Jamari, it's not you. This guy through track and field, right? He came up to me. He's like, man, what do you do to get so fast? So we started talking and stuff. And then he said to me, he said, why don't you just come over to my house, right? So I came up to his house and I pull up to the front of his house and I said, wait a minute, this can't be his house. Because at the time he was a teacher, and when I pull up, there's three Lexus and a Toyota Solera parked in the yard. And I'm sitting there to myself, I'm like, is that a Lexus ISF? That car is like $72,000. This guy's a teacher. How can, and he's only like about 3 years older than me. This doesn't make any sense. Like, how can he afford three Lexus and a Solera, which if you guys don't know what the Solera is, they don't make it anymore. It's basically Camry coupe. I had all these cars, a huge house, right? Just a bunch of stuff in there. And I go in and we sit down and talk, and I ask him, I said, you sure you're a teacher? And he's like, yeah, here's my teacher's ID. He's a PE teacher. Till this day, he's a PE teacher. And I said to him, I said, this doesn't make any sense. What how can you afford this stuff on a teacher's salary? And then he's like, you really want to know? I said, yeah. He's like, I have a business. I'm like, you have a business? I mean, this guy can't even break 11 seconds in the 100, And he said to me, he said, but it's related to his business.
Dirty, man. You're dirty.
He's a personal trainer. You see what I'm saying? So a way of channeling what he did as a love, or what I'm saying, a hobby, to being able to get others to exercise, to being able to afford the stuff that I didn't believe I was at the right house. And I guess the reason why he had the Toyota is so that they didn't think that he was selling drugs to afford all those Lexus, that the school didn't call the police on him. But this guy was living large, all because he figured out how to use what he had to get more, right? So what I'm saying is, you can have your day job, because he had his teaching job, and I think one of the reasons why he had it is because, probably he needed health insurance. I don't know, right? And when he got off of school, a couple of days a week, he would get all these high class clientele, and he would, do personal training, and he was making 3 times what he was making teaching, doing personal training, right? So I say that to say this, like I was saying, in order to truly get out of debt, you have to increase your income. There's something in you that you just not see, and I don't know what it is. Just search for it, and you'll find it, and use that to get ahead. Trust me, there's somebody out there, many individuals out there, that want that special talent. You just have to find what it is, right? And that's pretty much all I have to say for the rest of the night. Just giving you guys a couple examples of individuals that I ran into.
Oh, we are at that closing moment. We are at that closing moment.
Well, here's a final thoughts. We got a homework assignment from Kevon to everybody. Make sure you go and do your research, put in the difference between an IRA and a Roth IRA, and find out how much money you can put into it, and and even go to your banker or whatever and ask them, hey, could you tell me about this and walk me through, or your credit union will probably be better.
Do not go to the bank. Don't go to the bank.
My bad. Not the bank, my bad. Yeah, not the bank, my bad. The credit union. Yeah.
The trade has it.
Yeah, the best thing to do for your IRA is basically teach yourself. Go online.
So do the research.
Yeah. So you have to teach yourself, because the banker is going to tell you what they want to tell you for their IRA, because guess what?
Yeah.
They can invest your money in investment for themselves. See what I'm saying?
Right. Awesome. And so one homework assignment for me would be to ask yourself the question, what do I love to do? What is that worth to me? Like, whatever you love to do, what your passion is, whatever you think is what you enjoy. Yes, like Yvonne said, there's somebody that is willing to pay you for that. There's somebody that's willing to give you, an exchange of their time earned money, to allow you to have some either residual income, some passive income, just an extra income, or that could be your sole income. So ask yourself, hey, what do I love to do? And what I think it's worth. Because then the next thing is you come up with your price points and figure out what you want to charge people for what you do. I charge people $100 an hour to talk to them about their life and make sure that their life is important. Make sure that their life is working well. That's $100 an hour. Now, do I have 1 million clients? No, but that's what I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to do it for less unless they're giving some other kind of contribution. So I had a client even that gave me red.
That Bitcoin.
They made
Bitcoin. Collect only Bitcoin from your clients.
Hey, I'll do that. I will do that. That'll be another option for, hey, if you don't have you want to pay that money, hey, pay me in Bitcoin. Or, go get this Bitcoin or something like that. There's a lot of ways that you can make your life a lot easier. But the first thing you got to ask yourself is, what's the way that I want to do that? So the way that you would want to do it is something that you enjoy doing or something that you're just good at. You might just be good at cooking. Tell all your friends and your family that can't cook, come and take some cooking lessons. Then you're going to be cooking anyway. Just say, come to my house, pay me $25 to cook. And I will show you how to cook. We'll do this. I'm going to be cooking anyway, but I'll show you how to cook. You get $25. Take that, put it in your Roth IRA. Anyway, you're already surviving based on what you have right now. So that's my homework. Ask yourself those two questions. What am I good at? What do I love to do? And what's it worth to me? All right. That's my homework. Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you have any questions on how to actually, we got to do our plugs, man. We're doing a business. This is a business. All right. So, yeah, man. So if you do want to learn how to make those mental changes, right? Because if you don't change your mentality, you'll be doing different things. You can make $450,000 a year and still be broke and still be in debt because you haven't changed your mentality on how to value your own life. Right. So no matter how much money we make, there's always something that can make you spend more. All right. So within that, once you are making that transition to making money or more money or income or building your wealth, you also have to shift your mindset. All right. So if you want to learn how to shift your mindset, because we have mental blocks that were trained in us since we were kids, mental blocks of what we can and what we cannot do, what we should and what we shouldn't do. All right. You guys aren't all buying iPhones, for the technology that, because there are other phones that have more technology that you're not buying because we're trained. So change the training of your mind, and then it'll be reasonable or realistic for you to actually change the way that you do things on a day-to-day basis, getting your investments right, getting your business right. It's your mentality that's blocking you. It's your vision that's blocking you. All right. So you change your vision, and if you want to learn how to do that,
there we go.
Go to My Relationship Works. You go to myrelationshipworks@gmail.com. Remember, the first relationship that is the most important is your relationship with yourself. So if you don't have a really good, positive relationship with yourself, you will get blocked. Make that transition to go and do something or change this or do that. All right. So myrelationshipworks@gmail.com. Again, that's myrelationshipworks@gmail.com. Hit me up and I will help you. I will assist you in making that transition. And then you can, how do you get to Jamare and learn about that financial wealth and all that good stuff?
Segue.
I will go ahead and let Sophie go ahead and
oh yeah, let Sophie go. My bad.
Okay, so you guys out there, I do not have any parting advice for you because I think that I probably benefited the most from the panel today. So I really don't have anything to send you away with, but to be thoughtful in your living. And that's what I try to do. I'm still, trying to figure some things out, but I'm thoughtful in my living and, live life. Go for it. And try to take risks. That's what I guess I need to work on. And that's all.
Boom!
All right, everyone. Definitely. Hey, Sophie, your camera is so crispy. Hey, dang,
hold on, let me see that bit. Hold on, let me click on that bit right quick.
What do you mean?
Oh,
it's not crispy on camera. Something wrong with my lighting, man. I gotta fix my dang lighting here.
That 1080p, I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing the furs on the fringes.
I didn't know that if you click on the square, you can see the people close up. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'll be blowing y'all up, man. I don't want to look at this gorgeous face all the time.
When I clicked on Kavon's to present to everyone. I forgot to take it off for a good minute. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We're definitely going to have more information as we're learning. You're learning. If you have any requests, any topic requests, you can comment at the bottom, or you can contact me directly at Jamari at imjclarrington.com. But that's about it. We're going to get ready for our next show, which is going to be on 16th. The 16th of December will be our next show. So we have like a good week to promote and get some more information and get some more knowledge. Maybe we might get somebody in here that is a person that does IRAs, blah, blah, blah. Or I know Kavan wants to do a life insurance one. So if you really want to get on that life insurance one, go ahead and comment below. Let us know if you would like to get on that, because I think that is a very good topic that needs to be disseminated. The information needs to be disseminated to the people. So we can even do that one on the 6th. What is it, 16th? 16th. Okay.
16th, yeah. I'd like to learn that.
Definitely. With that one, I actually have a website that we can go to. We can plug in everyone here's information, and I can show you what your life insurance would be right now versus if you were overweight. Because right now I'm a little overweight. If I lose, so I'm paying about $40 now for the life insurance policy that I have. If I lose 28 pounds, then I would be paying exactly $18.90 for the same insurance. So the key.
What?
Yeah. So that would be a good topic, Jamari. And I have the website that.
So basically, you being overweight a little bit, you're a little riskier. Come on, you're a little riskier.
Exactly. So there's several things with life. All right, so we can do that next time, Jamari. It's up to you. Let me know.
It's all good. It's all good.
Being overweight is costing you money.
All right. So again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you comment below. Let us know if the information helps you out. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you like. We're definitely going to be doing a lot more. I know we took a 3-week hiatus or sabbatical, but we're back. We're back on, and we're ready to go. Fired up. All right, people. Again, let's thank the panelists for being here. Kavan, thank you for showing up. Again, breaking down this great information for us. Good night, everyone.
Good
You guys
night.
have a good
night.
What you chewing on?